The war in Ukraine is far from over, but one of the most significant streams of aid could be coming to an end. Tonight, a dire warning from the White House. Money to support the war in Ukraine is out.
We have one more security assistance package available to us before the end of this year, before we run out of replenishment authority to replenish the stocks and the inventories.
And unless Congress approves additional aid before the end of the year, the United States will not be able to send Ukraine support it so desperately needs. The U.S. has already allocated more than $100 billion to Ukraine, military and humanitarian aid, since Russia launched its full-scale invasion in early 2022.
We can't let Putin win.
But President Biden wants Congress to approve another $60 billion. Republicans are skeptical and say they won't approve more funding without changes to the U.S.'s border and immigration policies. Ukraine is desperate. A top general told Reuters they've already had to scale back some military operations. At a 2-hour press conference today, President Volodymyr Zelenskyy flatly denied suggestions that Ukraine is losing this war, but acknowledged the challenges of fighting a nation with significantly more resources, from weapons to troop levels.
And I'm confident that the United States will not let us down, and what we have agreed in the United States will be fulfilled in full.
Last week, Ukraine's former defense minister, Andriy Zahornyuk, told NBC News it's disappointing that internal politics in the U.S. are impacting Ukraine.
And we understand that there is a political process and so on. It's just like they need to remember that every day or months of delayed assistance, that's somebody's lives on stake. The fact that some politicians don't realize that, that's quite concerning, I have to say.
Meanwhile, Russia is carrying on. President Vladimir Putin claims he is willing to negotiate and talk about Ukraine, but accused the U.S. of, quote, dragging Russia and Europe into this conflict on purpose.
For more on the state of the war in Ukraine and Putin's next move, let's bring in the director of the USC School of International Relations, Robert English. Robert, you have written in the past that Russia is facing an economic war of attrition with the West. You wrote that, I believe, at the start of Russia's full-scale invasion in February of 2022. At a meeting today with Russia's defense ministry, we heard President Putin say the economies of countries in Europe are now facing the financial burden of the war. I'm curious what you made of his remarks when we hear Putin say something like that. Is it true? Has the economic situation for Russia changed, or is he just posturing a bit?
No, he's got a lot of facts on his side. Right, economic growth is actually about twice as rapid in Russia as it is in the European Union. Unemployment is twice as high in Europe as it is in Russia. So there is some foundation, but we also know that while this is a fast-moving economy, it's also very fragile, and this pace cannot be maintained. It's an artificial wartime kind of prosperity with investment in every other sector being neglected. And even Putin's own economists are warning him that this can't be kept up. Another year and a half, and things will start to crumble. So it's very temporary, but for the moment, he's crowing about his immediate strengths.
You know, in some ways, it does feel like we're at a possible tipping point or new phase of what this war looks like moving forward. And there have been such questions for Ukrainians, for Russians, about whether or not this becomes a quote-unquote frozen conflict. I'm curious what you see right now. And when you look at the U.S. and the disagreements over funding aid for Ukraine, whether or not you see some sort of dramatic change in the next 3 to 4 months, and if that aid isn't approved before Congress leaves for the holidays here in the U.S., does that mean Putin is going in to the new year with a significant win?
He's going into the new year strong in either case, but I'm pretty confident. For example, in Europe, the European Union, frustrated at its inability to get past Hungarian opposition, is finding ways to deliver roughly $50 billion in aid for the next year to Ukraine in any case. And the United States will as well. We're pretty confident that some compromise will be struck. But those new funds and those new weapons will still barely be enough to hold the line. Very few military strategists now hold out hope for a sweeping Ukrainian victory, liberation of most of the occupied territory. So you're right, we are looking at a different kind of war, one where Ukraine is now giving up on the grand offensive and building defenses and holding the line. And sadly, that means the prospect is when a truce is called, when peace talks begin, Ukraine will probably end up having to concede a significant chunk of territory. There's no way getting around that.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.